What's up, guys? You know, it's your boys from Another Perspective. You see, Sal's ready for Halloween.
Hell yeah, man.
Be throwing a lot of that stuff at you guys. A lot of costumes. We got a lot of videos coming up. We have our top 10 Halloween movies.
Five from me, 5 from Donovan.
Yeah, of all time. Maybe. We'll see. And then we have our spoilers for Talk to Me.
Too hot in that mug.
Talk to Me. And also Cobweb. We have Voyage of the Demeter coming out. We got Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yep.
The Exorcist Believer. Thanksgiving. And some other videos for you guys.
A lot more.
Check it out, guys. It's Halloween time, baby. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's our season to do our thing.
We'll see you there.
Peace.
Tiptoe by the window, that is where all become tiptoe.
What's good?
What's up, guys? We're about to review Insidious, The Red Door. So?
All right, so this movie just came out in theaters July 7th, 2023. And this is going to be basically the 5th installment of the Insidious chapters. I say the Insidious chapters because, as we all know, it's also part of the Conjuring
Universe.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But now, to get things straight, this is technically the movie that goes after part 2 of Insidious.
Yep. It goes after the second movie, and 3 and 4 are prequels to 1 and 2 and the 5th one. So it kind of flows real nicely there. Been a while since the first, second Insidious, but in the movie, this takes place 10 years after the second movie. Dalton's now 18 or whatever, so it kicks off with him actually going off to college.
Yep.
And, basically all his memories kind of resurfacing about what happened in the first and second movie, which also resurfaces the other world, which is the further.
Yep.
And that just spirals out of control. Obviously, all these different spirits pop out and everything, and that's what our movie's pretty much about.
Yeah. Trying to keep it low because it's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps if you watch the other movies beforehand, but if you don't, believe me, you're going to enjoy the movie just as much. I mean, because you're watching the movie like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was actually telling Sal, honestly, if you haven't seen the first and second one, you might actually enjoy it even more because it does give you flashbacks in the movie. Again, not trying to spoil it or anything, but it does give you some flashbacks here and there. And basically, it's like, okay, you're having this mystery feel of what are these flashbacks, what's going on, while also enjoying the story. So it's kind of, you get different emotions in the movie if you haven't seen the first two. But if you have, you like it or hate it, either or. We'll tell you our reviews here in a bit.
Yep.
First, the director was Patrick Wilson himself. And I think he directed the movie pretty well. Obviously, he is also the father in this movie, Josh Lambert. The son, Dalton Lambert, who's played by Ty Simpkins. Mm-hmm. Rose Byrne plays Renee Lambert, who is the mother. And then there's Andrew and Juliana, who plays Foster and Kelly Lambert. So, in this movie, they're not really that shown like that as much. But obviously, the mom and dad and Dalton are. And so, that's our cast. We have some others that are in and out, but we can explain that later on.
Okay.
The main people obviously are our Lambert family, and the two main people in general are Dalton and Josh. And so we can kind of go to box office and stuff, I think.
All right, so box office, opening weekend, it did get 32.6 million, which is damn good.
Pretty good for that type of movie.
Yeah, and especially with that budget. You're talking about a $16 million budget.
Yeah.
And you basically doubled it?
Doubled it, and that's opening weekend.
Yeah.
So they did a pretty darn good job, especially with this box office lately. I don't know if y'all been seeing it, but it's been kind of weak.
It has been.
Y'all need to go out and see these movies.
Seriously.
You gotta see these movies.
Go outside, guys. Yeah. There's a lot out there. Like, don't get me wrong. These four corners are cool. I mean, these four walls are cool. Yeah. Your four walls are cool. But the outside is where it's at.
Go to the movies. And it does affect the movies. You think, even without the theaters, the quality would be the same. No, because now you just have to put it on a TV screen, not the big screen. So the quality is going to go down. The the money that's put into these movies go down because you don't have to have as much on marketing, things of that nature.
Right.
So go support these movies because it will pay off with the same quality or better in our movies in the future. So please,
Seriously.
guys, go support these movies.
And you don't get the same experience when you watch it on your laptop, on your
No.
phone, because everybody's watching everything on apps now, you know?
Yeah.
And like the sound effects, just being in the suspense, I mean,
Yeah.
you're not going to have a good jump scare if you don't go to the movies.
No, I'm sure you've seen one movie, especially Infinity War, Marvel,
Mhm.
you know, Infinity War Endgame. I mean, you won't get that same experience at home like you did in the theaters watching it. So
Right.
definitely support. But that was all script, guys.
Yeah.
South,
All right,
you're explaining the box office and the budget, $16 million.
yeah, so again, this is 10 years after everything, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that plays a big fact why a lot of people went this weekend to go watch it, because they want to know what happened with the family.
For sure.
But Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 38%. IMDb gave it a 6 out of 10. Google users is 81%.
Mm-hmm.
The audience score is 70%. And then Donovan's rating for this movie is
I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought it started off really strong and then it kind of died to me towards the second and third act of the movie. And it was just like the suspense of it. We'll get into the spoilers on it, but I mean, we were sure you've seen the trailers, but there's a certain big bad that you're expecting. If you've seen the first and second movie, you've been waiting for this person for quite a while. So the fact that I feel like this big bad in the movie wasn't really portrayed in a good light. I mean, he was kind of in and out, it was kind of in and out. It was more of like a cameo, really. It wasn't really
Seriously,
didn't really have a big role to play, honestly, and that was a big letdown for me. I mean, yeah, we know it's PG-13. Yeah, we weren't expecting blood and gore because it's a bunch of spirits and stuff. But at the same time, I felt like it was just a couple big jump scares. Like I said, the first act was good. Second and third act kind of died down. But overall, like I said, the directing was awesome. You can tell Patrick loves this universe. He loves everything he puts into these movies and stuff. So him as a director made perfect sense. And yeah, I thought it was awesome shots and everything. So 6 out of 10 for me.
okay. I'm at a 7 out of 10, guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 because I did enjoy it. I did watch Insidious 1, but we're talking about 10 plus years or 10 years ago. It's been a while, or 8, I'm not sure. And then
Been a long time.
it's been a
I
while.
think since 2010.
2010. So yeah, it's been more than 10 years. Yeah, I can't remember all that. And then I didn't see part 2. So watching this movie, I did enjoy the whole flashbacks and everything, showing parts from those other movies. You know, not to spoil anything. So to me, it was all new, and I sat there and enjoyed it. But the second act, third act, I felt like it died down. Like one, I think the last act they rushed it.
Oh,
To
they
me,
rushed it big
it
time.
felt real rushed. And like you said, the big main bad that you're expecting in the movie, I feel like they pulled a Mulan
Mm-hmm.
or Malum.
Oh yeah,
Malum.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they.
Yeah.
They didn't do much with what they could, like, but hey, it was a real awesome directed movie. The suspense. I went to the theater. Well, obviously we went to the theaters, and it just, man, my boy was in there because I took my little boy with me. He loves scary stuff though. He was sitting there,
Yeah.
trying to cover his eyes because it's that
It's a lot.
excitement.
It's the music. It's everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's awesome. So I enjoyed it, but it's a 7 because I didn't like the ending. I felt it was rushed. I felt like they cut scenes, they jumped from scene to scene, and I was like, man, I wish they would have went a little more in depth. But maybe that's because I didn't catch part 1 and 2. You
Right.
know, a refresher.
Right.
But yeah, so 7 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed it. Patrick, you did your thing. Your acting was phenomenal. It got to me in the beginning. Like, 'cause it was me and my boy watching the movie.
Yeah.
And I think you know why I say that it kind of got to me because of the whole father and son thing.
Right.
Going to college and stuff.
Yeah. That's
So I was like,
got
oh
you.
man, what did I...
Looking into the future. Yeah.
Yeah,
for you.
so it was pretty cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. It was a real good movie.
Yeah. Well, that's our ratings, guys. We're gonna have a spoiler review, obviously. So,
Yep.
you know, please stick around in the video. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll catch you guys in the spoiler zone.
Yes, sir. Peace. spoilers for the red door. Insidious, the red door. Don't go through that door. Close it. Don't you think about it.
Yeah, guys, we're just gonna go through just the different acts, pretty much, 1, 2, and 3. So, first act takes place with Josh Lambert and his family, basically at a funeral for his mom, actually, and so that's the sad part. Barbara Hershey, and who plays his mom. She did an awesome job in her role in the, first few Insidiouses, and, sad to see her go. Obviously something happened maybe with her, I don't know, maybe some contract negotiation or whatever, to where they couldn't get her in the movie. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. Or she really, I don't know, did she really pass? I don't know. I'm so sorry
shit.
if it did.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was not. Damn.
I didn't think about that one.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it takes place, starts off at the funeral.
Yeah.
And then from there, Josh takes Dalton to college. Because this is Dalton. He's 18, just going into college.
Yep.
And he meets a friend.
Yep.
Well, it's like a co-ed.
Hates his father. Hates his father. He hates his father. But it's because their memories are suppressed. They don't remember what happened in the first and second Insidious.
Yep.
And the mom, and obviously, Dalton's mom, and also, Josh's mom.
His grandma.
Dalton's grandma and Josh's mom. They don't say anything.
Oh,
and
crazy.
and then Josh's wife divorces him, and I'm like, you know what he went through in the first and second movie. You helped suppress his memory, and you divorce this man because this man's like, I don't feel myself. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I don't even remember my kid thing.
Yeah.
What happened with my kid. It's all foggy, and you divorce him. I mean, come on, how low can you get? I know. He tried to kill you. It wasn't really him, but spirit possessed the body, and he almost killed you. I'm sure you have nightmares, but dang, I mean, you don't want to try to work it out. I mean,
seriously, you couldn't even give him some clues. Like, it's your fault that he's the way he is now.
Right. So that makes Dalton hate him even more because he obviously sees a fear in his mom, just doesn't know why. And he also obviously feels like his dad was doing something. So you kind of get that throughout the movie.
Well, Dalton's siblings talk about how they have memories. And Dalton has these. Well, they don't call them memories; it's their imagination, as the mom called.
Yeah,
about the dad chasing him with a hammer.
Yeah, because the siblings were younger than Dalton himself, which was like 8 at the time. So yeah, I mean,
it's crazy. That's the part that I was telling you. It felt kind of weird taking my son because I was like, "Oh damn, that dude's having problems with his boy."
Yeah,
and I brought my boy, but we ain't the same people, so it's okay.
Y'all are good. So.
Yeah, I was just like, damn, I hope it's not like that when he gets,
Right, he hates you. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, for sure. I ain't going to no red door.
Suppressed, unless you can go to the further. I don't know. Anyway, just don't do it here. But
so they get to college. They meet Chris, who's played by Sinclair Danielle.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a good friend to Dalton. We don't know the relationship that they had because it was kind of a little in and out there, but yeah.
We can see something happening.
Yeah, we definitely see something happen. If there's a next chapter, I think they'd probably be hooked up or something or going through all this together. Yep. But anyway, so he's in college and he goes to this art class where he does an exercise, and I think that's what starts all that suppression starting to come out, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, she's like counting down from 10. And
look deep down in your subconscious.
Yeah, so it puts him into the further, which then basically he opens the further back up, which probably represents the red door being open, and so all these spirits and stuff come back out, because the only way to suppress the further is by suppressing the memory of the further. And so obviously that's wide open now, thanks to the art teacher. Thanks, art teacher.
Seriously, it was all her fault.
Yeah.
But so he starts having these astral projections and starts realizing, hey, something's up with me. Something ain't right. And the door, he paints it, and he's like, man, there's a connection here. So little by little, he starts drawing like memories that were suppressed. Mm-hmm. And while he's over here trying to figure that out, Josh, his dad's also trying to figure out what's wrong with him. So he goes to the doctor to get an MRI, to get his, brain checked, his head, see if there's anything going on. And
that was a creepy scene. Yeah.
It was, dude.
So you knew something was going to crawl. You just didn't know when, because it's dark. He's like, hey, help. Lights are off.
Seriously.
Doc's not answering. He's like, help. He's pressing the button. Obviously, electricity's off. I would have been crawled out that mug.
Well, didn't Doc say there's someone in there with you?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm like, what?
And then he's looking around, looking down, and then all of a sudden this creepy guy or whatever crawling after him, obviously a spirit. He's like, he wakes up, because he went into the further. He's back in the real world, and the doctor's like, tests are good. He's like, wait, what's wrong with you? Because he didn't hear him screaming because he was in the further screaming. So it's just wild.
It was crazy.
And I'm thinking he went into the further because basically his memories, well, obviously his son opened that door. But also I feel like his memories came back because he saw, who was it, Carl, who was played by Steve Coulter.
That's
who
right.
also, worked with Elaine. And so it's kind of like that thing where he saw Adelaine's or his mom's funeral. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I know you from somewhere. So he started bringing back his memories, which possibly could have opened up the further for him. So he started going through his stuff. Yep. I can't remember if before or after the scene with the house. His dad, I guess.
Oh, doing the matching game?
I don't know if that was... I think that was after.
Yeah, that was after the doctor.
Because the doctor told him to do the matching game, and he's like, this isn't working.
Oh, and you just see this spirit.
Yeah, you see the spirit by the tree when he's taking... Because he has these photos in front of a window, so they do a cool thing where he takes the photos down trying to figure out who's who or whatever. Yeah. And the spirit's like in the background because he's checking out his memory. Yeah. Can I remember who's behind these photos that are facing away from me?
Little flashcards.
And he's like, these aren't working. And all of a sudden, boom, the spirit busts in there and all that. But later on, you find out it's the dad and all that. And it turns out his dad, he got it from his dad. So pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, his dad, I guess, had the whole astral projection. He could see dead spirits, the sixth sense. I see dead people.
Yeah.
But and that got passed to Dalton, and so that's pretty much Dalton and Josh realizing that they even have that because part 2, when Josh was possessed by the spirit, they finally got him back. They suppressed everything, and it's been 10 years. So, and Dalton even told Chris, he's like, I have a whole year of my life that I don't remember. And that door, the painting and everything, going down into his subconscious with his art teacher was just bringing all that to life.
Yes, and one of the big bads we brought up that we were disappointed in, it popped up in the third act, which the third act was the weakest act to me. Usually I think it's the second act that's usually pretty weak. And these new horror movies, because they try to explain everything and it gets boring. It gets drawn out.
It does.
The first part's like, it's about to be great, and then the second part is like, all right, wake me up.
Too much dialogue going on.
Wake me up when the monster pops back up. Third act, it's like, okay, they're in the further, things are going down. Josh is trying to save Dalton again, so the whole father-son thing in the further. And basically it's like, okay, we get to see, I saw this cool thing online, they call him the red demon with the lipstick.
Yeah, the lipstick demon.
The lipstick demon, I guess we'll call him. I just thought it was like a version of the devil. Cause,
that's what I thought so
tail,
too. Yep.
All that kind of stuff. But the demon with the lipstick, I like that better. We get to see like basically a glimpse of him. We get to, the song, in the window, da, da, da. It's like, it wasn't even the main part of the song, which was lame. But I'm like, it kind of, started off in the beginning and then they play other sound or whatever, but the demon pops up, obviously trying to take Dalton's body over. Actually does take Dalton's body, but fails miserably.
Oh my god!
It's like, what?
And I didn't like that part. All of a sudden Dalton's in the further.
Yeah, well, tied up. He's tied up.
Like, what the hell, dude? You were just looking at memories of your dad trying to kill you, and then all of a sudden the demon's in your body.
Right?
Like, why'd y'all jump? Like.
And then, his dad saving. Yeah, it's just a bunch of jumps.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, so they can go in the further in and out like they're just pros now.
Seriously.
It's just like, what? And they can jump from place to place. It's like, so you're way over here, so on the further you can just jump from there to here. I mean, it's like, what's going on?
And it made no sense because when Dalton was first astral projecting, he only astral projected into his dorm room.
Right. So obviously he's in the dorm room, so he's far away. So how did you travel that fast over? He's like, Dalton? Or I don't think he has the light. Dalton brings, I don't know. It's just like, wait, what? And it was so easy to get the monster out of his body. I'm just like, so he unties Dalton. He's like, you gotta go. Your body's dying or whatever it's doing. And Dalton's like, I can't leave you, Dad. He leaves his ass. I'm just like, because Josh is trying to stop The father's trying to stop the demon with the lipstick from
Barging through the door.
barging through the red door, which
like,
I thought he was already through the red door.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was just weird. I'm like, wasn't he already through the red door? Because he literally possessed Dalton's body.
It made no sense.
And Dalton, before this scene, he's like, "Oh, Dad, I saw you." He's like, "That wasn't me, son. You know, like it was a spirit or whatever. Evil spirit possessed me." Oh, okay. You know, hug, kiss, whatever. They didn't kiss, but anyway,
Yeah.
you know, they made up, and then it's like, okay, let's leave. And then all of a sudden, Josh is standing in front of the door. Just go, just go. And then he tries to kill himself. I guess he tried to stop his breathing or something in front of the door. That's what happened because his heartbeat do. Starts getting slower and
Real
slower. And I'm
slow.
like, this is so lame. Is he really about to kill himself? I guess he's...
He figured, hey, if I die, nothing could possess me.
My
nothing,
body
yeah.
can stay in front of the door. It's just like, what? What? It's just like, so you're about to die like that? It's like, just go back to your body and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
But anyway, Dalton figures out, hey, I can paint the door with the paint in real life. Ha ha ha. And so he starts painting he in art class, he painted the red door. He drew the red door, but he's like, if I paint the red door in real life, it's gonna cover it up into further, which I have no idea how that works.
Yeah,
Dalton is just this OP Goku type person in this world, I guess. Dalton can do whatever he wants to do. And so he starts painting the door. The paint falls on Josh's face. He's like, he wakes up from trying to kill himself, and he's like, oh, good job, Dalton. And then he starts running, or the light above the door turns off, and that's it. The door is shut from paint in the real world.
Or so you think.
Or so you think, because at the very end of the movie, the light turns back on.
Yep.
Even though it's painted over.
It made no sense. Like, that's why my score came down, because the ending was rushed in my eyes.
Too many cuts, too much
many.
rushing. Yeah.
Patrick, I loved the movie, don't get me wrong. But it was just rushed.
Yeah. Call us up, Patrick. We got you, man.
Yeah. Wait till you see our spoiler. I mean, wait till you see our short.
Yeah, really. Yeah, man. Watch that short, Patrick.
You're right.
You know, we got some ideas for you, man. We got you covered. We want to be in the universe. We want to be traveling further with Dalton.
Seriously.
Feel like y'all about to make some Power Ranger type group. We want to be in that group. You know what I mean? Y'all fighting spirits and stuff.
Seriously, man.
Because, you know, Elise popped up at the end talking about, you know, you got a lot of work to do, Josh. You're going to do some good things. Because in the movie, the one where she's fighting the key demon that made her, this was one of the prequels, I forgot 3 or 4. Basically, again, it's before 1 and 2. She goes back in time. She's fighting the key demon. The key demon makes her open up a crap ton of doors. So little does Josh know, there's other doors that are open. They're going to have a lot more stuff to do and people to save. So
yeah,
probably people like them.
Seriously, huh?
Yeah. So that's our review, guys.
Go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
Like, mine was a 6. His was a 7. I still say go check it out. Even if you like, especially if you like the Insidious movies, go support it. Check it out.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get your money's worth. The jump scares are there. The ending just lacked a little more, but yeah, go watch it.
Check it out, guys.
Yep.
Good
like, comment, subscribe.
Please.
Spoilers for the Boogeyman.
The Boogeyman.
Bullshit, man.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it. If you saw our review before the spoiler. But, you know, it's here, so we got to talk about it.
Yeah. We're dreading this, but it is what it is now. So, yeah, the movie.
Yep, takes place showing off the Billings family and shows off how the Boogeyman kills his victims and doesn't feed off of them. But then later on, the Boogeyman feeds off his victims. I don't know, kind of a character flaw there to me, because it's like, okay, what does a Boogeyman do? Does it kill? Does it feed? Does it
torture?
Kill? What does it do? I mean, you know, I don't know, because the Billings family, they had 2 daughters, and they said that the Boogeyman snapped both their necks. And so it's like, okay, so it didn't feed off of them? I don't know.
It looked like it cut somebody in the opening.
Yeah.
And didn't she blood splat?
Well, that was a little girl. They claimed the Boogeyman broke her neck. Yeah, so I don't know. But then later on, you see the Harper family and the boogeyman literally taking Sadie and like draining her, I guess, from her suffering because they lost their mom. And so the family's kind of suffering. And so when Lester Billings came over and, I guess infected the house because the boogeyman was attached to him, I guess. They didn't do a good job explaining. Anyway, the house gets infected. The boogeyman's there, and it's feeding off of their sorrow and their pain and their sadness, I guess, their fear. We don't really know. It wasn't really broken down that well. There wasn't an old man or woman coming out like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
The history wasn't really there, other than I guess it was Rita Billings that said, "Oh yeah, I think it's been around for a long time." What she thinks, she doesn't even know.
No.
She's just like, "It can't. My family can't be the first ones falling victim to this," which she's probably right. So
yeah, the movie's logic really didn't go full circle in this movie, so it left a lot of holes.
yeah,
You're sitting there thinking like, okay, why did this happen? How did this happen? Does this? Nah. Like the boogeyman, to me, the whole monster concept, to me, it was outplayed. Like they didn't take advantage of, like Donovan said, the darkness and everything. So it's like the boogeyman's a supernatural entity, but you give it a form.
right.
And at that, you give it a form that I've seen in too many, like, just,
it's,
scary movies with monsters. You see
that
that
four-legged
weird
thing.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? You see it
Yeah.
on Cloverfield. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I liked it. I liked it more than Sal did, I think, but I didn't like how they kept going off of it because Boogeyman came out, when again? I keep forgetting, 2005.
Oh, yeah.
The older Boogeyman, and there was probably one before that, but they didn't. He had different forms. It had different forms. It didn't just have that four-legged monster, whatever. And I don't know. Sometimes they would go off of the light thing, and they would be like, okay, some light it can go into, but some light it can't.
It made no sense.
I don't know. Lights out, it was like legit. No lights. Like, it had to be no lights. But
That movie looks better.
Yeah.
Lights Out. I saw the trailer before this spoiler, and it looked a lot better.
Yeah, I told him about it. Think he's gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix, I think, right
We'll
now.
be reviewing it later.
Yeah, it's that one I thought was a pretty good movie, and PG-13. So I mean, obviously the pacing was a little off, but what horror movies pacing isn't off these days? But anyway, this pacing was terrible.
Yeah, they just don't make them like they used to, guys.
They
They
don't.
really don't. I'm a big movie fan, and I can tell you, I've been telling my girl for the longest, they either ran out of ideas or people's imaginations just ain't the same no more.
Yeah, I don't know. Rob, I mean, which is a director, Rob Savage. I mean, I could see where you were going with this. I don't know if you ran out of ideas, or like Sal said, I don't know if you just kind of took something and was like, okay, here we are. I don't know, but yeah, I just wasn't a fan of it. I thought this movie could have been a lot more than what it was. It was a $35 million budget, which I think you can do a lot with. I mean, we saw Malum. I mean, that did, it did a lot of theatrics with it and everything. And, in the beginning, I enjoyed it because, okay, we're starting off with the Billings family. It's showing this little girl just got taken out. It's okay, so we're about to get down to business, and then...
Sorry, just being a little dramatic over here.
Yeah. So, it shows them getting down to business, and then it's just like, okay, it gets into the Harper family, and then we get into the
Harper family?
well, Billings, what's his name? Lester.
Lester.
We get into Lester Billings, and he's like, oh, I needed some therapy to the
I don't know what I'm gonna
therapist
do.
Will, which is Sadie and Sawyer's dad, and he's just like, this dude just walked into our house, but yeah, I'll give you therapy. You need first he was like, no, you need a what's it called?
A referral or something.
You need something. You need to schedule something beforehand, and then I can talk with you. He's like, no, I need to talk to you. Okay, so basically he was saying, I think you can relate to me because your wife died, so you can relate to what I'm feeling because my kids died.
Yeah, he had a loss.
He had a loss in the family, and again, it's supposed to feed off of the suffering, but I guess it makes them tastier if they fear him.
It's tasty.
I don't know. Even though the family didn't know about it until later on, because the boogeyman, the dad didn't even know about it until he got dragged back in the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
But I think Lester's wife, Rita Billings, she mentioned that he likes to play with his food.
Yeah,
He
she
likes to
did
play
say
with his
that.
prey, or play with his prey, or
She
have
did
fun
mention
with his
that.
food.
I think he had too much fun. I think it was drawn out too much. I mean, the little girl couldn't be more scared. She had this little, I call it a psychic ball or whatever. You tell the future. She had a little glow in the dark ball or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's this hallway scene. She rolls it down the hallway, and then the boogeyman breaks it. How does he break a ball full of light, even though he's supposed to be afraid or whatever of light? I don't know.
It makes no sense.
None. But anyway, the ball breaks and she's looking. She's not running. She's looking down the hall. This, I guess, a brave little girl, I guess. And then I guess Boogeyman pops up behind her and drops the ball behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're thinking, oh, this is it. That's it for her. This
Nope.
darkness, she's done. And then it cuts to, this is what I'm talking about. The scenes were just off. It's like, we don't want to see Sadie downstairs, I don't know, getting some water, whatever she was doing downstairs. We just came from a scene where the girl was upstairs.
Yeah.
And the ball dropped beside her, and then we're downstairs. And it's like, no, go back upstairs. And then a little bit later, the girl runs downstairs. Sadie, it's like, how is this
You're
girl?
mean. Why'd you do that? Start kicking her and stuff.
It's like, what are you talking about? I don't know. It just, pacing was off. The movie was off to me. I didn't enjoy it. 5 out of 10. Yeah.
I mean, talking about it, like, damn, it might come down to a 4. But I think we're
Yeah.
being a little harsh because, again, this is a PG-13, guys, and we went in there expecting to see the boogeyman do its thing. But it didn't do its thing.
Yeah.
It didn't do nothing at all.
I don't know.
Yeah. I went home perfectly fine. I wasn't scared of nothing.
Yeah. And we don't even have to be scared. Just show like a good, I don't know, monster, a good movie, a good psychological thriller maybe. I mean, it's horror mystery, but it's like, it's not really even, I guess the mystery is, what is the boogeyman, what's going on, how does it move from, it didn't even go into how does it move from house to house. It just said, oh, I guess the guy brought the boogeyman over.
Or was the boogeyman after him? Trying to kill him?
And
I mean, the boogeyman did kill him.
he
He didn't hang himself.
Yeah, the boogeyman did kill him in the beginning, but then I thought the boogeyman was just after the kids at first,
I thought so, too.
because it just killed the kids, and so it's like, why leave the parents when I don't think it really wants the parents like that. I think it just kind of gets rid of the parents because it just kills them. It doesn't feed off of them, but then it just killed the kids in the beginning. This is what I'm talking about.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, guys.
Because it was holding Will, is it Will Harper? Yeah, Will Harper, all weird and stuff. Like, he was cradling him for hours
which is
until
the dad.
Sadie gets home.
Yeah, which is the dad of the two girls, and it's just like, I don't know.
It made no sense, guys. And
It
then
makes
the
no
dad
sense.
was like the worst dad in the world.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, asshole.
Yeah, the daughter's like, can you just bring up mom? And he's like, no, that's okay.
Talk to your therapist.
Yeah, talk
Walks
to
out
your
the
therapist.
door.
Who's creepy in her own way, Dr. Wheeler, played by Lisa Gay Hamilton. And I don't know, Sal said it was her glasses, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's this therapy session where they had both Sawyer and Sadie in the therapy session. And she's like, okay, Sawyer, which is the little girl. I'm sure you've seen on the trailer where she's rolling the ball under the bed, even though who would do that? But anyway, so they're in this therapy session, and I don't know, I guess it's a real therapy thing where she's like, okay, I got this square light thing where it's going to be blinking, and every time it gets, blinks, it gets slower and slower until it's no more light. And basically that scene happens, and she's scary in her own way. I mean, let's just be honest. She's like in the background. It's okay. It's like, can you move? Like, I'm getting scared just from you.
Walking around the room and stuff.
Yeah, and so a lot of the music kicks in, and she's like, Sawyer's like, oh, and then she's screaming, and yeah. I think, long story short, I was just introducing Dr. Wheeler. She was creepier than the boogeyman. I'm just in that scene. She just was.
Well, and then at the end, I mean, you would think they'd do something with her, because
don't bring up the ending. I mean, that was just terrible. Oh my gosh. Come on.
I mean, because you bring up a good point. The girls, they heard when Sadie was locked in that closet upstairs with the bullies overheard something going on in the room. When Sadie came up to find Lester, she overheard something in the room. And you want to tell me Dr. Wheeler didn't hear nothing?
She had to have heard something. But did our main character hear something? Did Sadie hear something? Because she she thinks Dr. Wheeler called her back in. She didn't call her back in. So I'm like, okay, the boogeyman's still alive at the very end. And then it gets to a scene where the closet's open.
Yeah.
And then it's like some noise is coming out of there. And she goes up to it. Sadie goes up to it, closes the door, smiles, walks out. Dr. Wheeler's like, why are you, did you forget something? No, I'm okay. What?
Yeah.
It was just terrible.
Sorry for jumping to the end like that, guys, but we brought up Dr. Wheeler, so we had to just...
Yeah, I mean...
I had to go there.
We can honestly end it at that. I'm over it. I just didn't even like it.
Yeah, guys, if you want to go watch it, we ain't recommending it. You can just wait.
Just wait. It'll be on Netflix.
It'll be on HBO. It'll be on Paramount. It'll be on something in a couple weeks. Because I don't see it lasting too long. No. So.
No. That's our review, guys. I mean, both gave it 5 out of 10s. I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry,
not much
guys.
to talk about. It was a disappointment. For me, at least, it was.
It was to me as well.
I mean, the boogeyman's been around. Just the idea of the boogeyman's been around. I mean, Stephen King since 1973. My grandma probably knows about the boogeyman, and it was scary when they told me about it back then, and this movie just wasn't it.
Wasn't it, guys? Disappointing. Sorry if you thought it was going to be something different. It wasn't. But, check it out if you still want to, but we're letting you know it's... Yeah, don't. We don't think you should, but
no.
Hey, it's your money. Do what you want.
Yep.
Like, comment, subscribe down below, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe down below.
Share with your friends,
Share
family,
with
everybody.
We love you guys. We'll see you on another review from another perspective.
Peace. The Thing.
Not 1982's by John Carpenter, but 2011's. And it's on Netflix right now, guys, so definitely check it out if you have not checked it out.
Yep.
And yeah, you want to go into the cast?
Yeah. So this is going to have Mary Winstead, who's Kate Lloyd. She's going to be one of the main starring characters in this movie. She's going to be with Joe Edgerton, who's Sam Carter. You got Ulrich Robinson, which is Dr. Sander. You got Christopher, who's Jonas. Eric Olsen, who's Adam Finch. And then you have Adewale, who's Derek Jameson.
Yeah.
And so what this is actually a prequel to the 1982 movie, The Thing, which is Donovan's favorite movie. So I'm going to let him take this away.
Yeah, so basically it showcases what happened before the 1982 film, and we will get into spoilers here in a little bit, but basically it's going over what happened in terms of finding the thing, what is the thing. They basically experienced it firsthand.
Yep.
And then you jump into 1982's film where they're discovering the aftermath of this 2011 film.
So the 1982 film is them discovering what happened in the 2011 movie.
Yes, they did the Star Wars. They made episodes 4, 5, and 6 before 1, 2, and 3.
Basically.
So, we're seeing what happened. And even though it's the past, it's technically the future. It's all weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, 2011 is trying to show you, hey, this is what happened in 1982's film, but with 2011, I guess, theatrics and CGI and stuff like that. So it's actually a pretty exciting film to get into if you're a fan of 1982's film. And also the fact that it's not a remake, you don't have to go, oh man, they're remaking my favorite movie. No, it's a prequel to your favorite movie. So it's actually not that bad, at least not to me.
It kind of shines light on the movie.
Yeah.
So, at the end, people are like, well, what happens with the dog? You want to know? Go back to 1982.
Go back to 1982. So I was exactly right. So
yeah, because so this movie here, I guess that's pretty much the gist of it.
Pretty much the gist.
It goes over what happened before the guys at 1982 movie come to the science base.
Yep.
Because that's kind of what it is. It's a science lab where they were discovering something and they found it.
Yep. They found it, and our main character in this one, Kate Lloyd, She's asked to come on this mission, basically in this 2011 one, to figure out what it is that they did find and how they can get it out safely.
Yeah, because so what happens, the movie starts off with two guys. Ooh. The movie starts off like that, but that would be considered a spoiler. So I'm going to slow it down a bit. I'm going to catch myself there.
Yep.
Before we get into spoilers, how did the movie do box office?
The movie box office was, I mean, honestly, it was 31.5 million. The budget was 38 million, and that's pretty bad. It
bad.
Plummeted at the box office back in 2011. Mainly, I think because John Carpenter just put such an impact on everybody from that 1982 film, and it wasn't really broadcasted as a prequel. It looked like a remake, and people don't like remakes, especially that close. I mean, 2011 and 1982, they're pretty close.
Right.
They didn't want to see it, I guess, and so it went downhill. It made $7 million less, and that's today's money numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So Rotten Tomatoes gave it 34%, and IMDb gave it 6.2 out of 10. Google reviews 3.5, and Metacritic 49%. So it's up and down on reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, it's those top people. Google reviews is average. And the average is probably your people that like the 1982 and don't even want to give this one a chance. And the other half is probably those that are like a standalone film. If this was a standalone film, it's actually a pretty good film. Not the best, not the worst, but it gives you that good sci-fi version and that good horror combined to where it's like, okay, I can sit and watch this film without turning it off the first 10 minutes. So.
It reminds me a lot of Aliens. Whenever, it takes you back to, was it 2010, 2009, where remember Leland Enterprise?
Yep.
Discovered the ship and everything, so
Yes.
they bring in all these people. Very similar to that. You have a private firm, company.
Except these guys are less experienced than that. Yeah.
Oh, very, very less experience. At least, Leland over at Aliens, they came all prepared with real good equipment.
They knew what was going on. These guys said, I'm just going to find something. We found, a ship. We won't say what type of ship till spoilers, but we found a ship with something inside of it or whatever, or something frozen beside it. So we're just trying to see what it is.
Yep. And that's pretty much what goes on.
Yeah.
In this movie. It just gives me like Alien vibes there. So that's a good comparison when you're thinking it can be a standalone movie. It really can, because it reminds me of that kind of plot storyline, and that was a good movie on its own.
For sure, and it's a prequel, so I mean technically you can't. Oh well, the former movie, it's a prequel, so it basically made the rules previously before they made this one. So I mean before they made the 1982. So it can be a standalone in a way, especially if you haven't seen the 1982.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna look at this movie like, okay, it was pretty good,
And I think most of the people out there, including myself, have probably watched it, but it's been so long
Right.
that it's hard to remember. Because I mean, a lot of the times I'm looking at some of the clips and I'm like, I remember watching this movie,
Right.
but it's just such a long time ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's popping off on Netflix. So if you're watching it now, you probably, like Sal said, forgot the original. And you're like, this is just a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good movie. But yeah, I guess you want to give out ratings and then jump to spoilers?
Yeah, most definitely. So my rating for this movie, because I don't have too much memories of the 1982, I actually give this one an 8. Because to me, it was pretty good as far as the action. When it was action came out, I liked it, the plot, the story of, like I said, it reminded me so much of Alien, them going to discover something, having to deal with this creature. There was a lot of parts where I didn't like some of the acting, and I felt like they were a little too aggressive towards each other when they didn't need to be. But again, like Donovan said, the rules were already set in place before this movie came out, so it's kind of hard to really sit there and do much with a prequel, because you're having to follow certain things. But
sure.
It's an 8 to me because it wasn't too bad. I mean, the CGI was pretty good, decent, and I understood the movie. It was pretty good. I liked it. It was
Yeah, the more I thought about it, I was saying 6, but I'm thinking I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, because the more I explained it, the more it made sense to me. And especially once I first watched this 2011 film, I was like, oh no, get out of here. But when I watched it again on Netflix, I was like, this is actually pretty good. So 7 out of 10 for me. There were some Things with the characters that I did not like, and there's some things that I did like. But that's what kind of brings my score down a little bit. There's some things with the monster that I didn't like because even though it's a prequel, there was something made before, which showed that the monster, or whatever it is that's out there, did some things that it's doing now. Where it's like, well, okay, well, why didn't it do it in the 1982 one? And it's just a lot. And CGI was kind of iffy to me too, but we're gonna get all into that, and we're gonna jump to our spoilers.
Yep. So like, comment, subscribe if you don't want to watch the spoilers. If you're sticking with us, spoilers time.
Let's take her down.
Is there something wrong?
No, everything's fine. You probably just forgot something. We'll be in the air in no time. Okay? Don't worry. Hang in there.
So, I guess the reason why my score is so high is because I can't remember too much of part one or part two. But like you said, there's a lot of things that are out of character with the monster.
Yes.
That I can see why your score would differ, because that really does make a big difference. You can't have Jason over here acting like Freddy.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, this 2011 one, it looks like we saw a video over how they made the film, kind of sort of a little bit of it, and it looked like they made actual designs, and then they're like, oh, scrap it, we're going to throw a bunch of CGI in it, which John Carpenter, he stuck with his designs, and it's like, yeah, obviously CGI, but not as much as this one, which kind of takes away from the realism they're trying to portray in this movie.
Right.
And, I think where I kind of fell off of it was the fact that this monster, I think, was a little smarter in the 1982 film than in this 2011 film. And again, we're going off of comparison. If we're not comparing, this was a good standalone film to me. Definitely 8, 9 out of 10 for me, at least 8 out of 10. Because CGI was a little iffy. The monster looked kind of weird to me. I don't know. Yeah. Even though it is a weird looking monster, it's just like certain things it did, it just like, it doesn't do this. But the funny thing is, I was just explaining to Sal. Sorry, I love this movie, the 1982 film. But the thing I was explaining to Sal was maybe since this was the prequel, the monster actually got smarter because they almost killed it off. They almost killed it off, and it's like one of those things where, okay, it barely escaped because at the beginning there's this dog running. Well, actually, no, at the beginning there's no dog running. 1982 film, there's a dog running away from the scene, and there's this guy chasing it, trying to shoot it down. It's a thing as a dog.
Right.
And so in this movie, they have the dog and stuff, and at the end you see it running away and the helicopter going up in the sky and chasing it. I'm thinking that the thing got smarter. And it's like, okay, I need to be more strategic. I need to be more mysterious.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, okay, that's why I gave it a higher score, because maybe that's what they're thinking. Because obviously it's a smarter being than what it's put off as in this one compared to the 1982.
I guess, because you do bring a point. This is the prequel, so that's why it was more aggressive.
Yes.
More instinct, I guess, because it kind of threw me off. Like, I really thought in the movie where the Carter's about to fly off with that one guy that was kind of just like in shock because he saw the thing attack the first person underneath this I guess the shed or this other little building, little cabin, and she's waving Dr. Kate comes out, she starts waving Carter down, and Carter's talking to this guy in the back that's sitting with the shock patient, saying, oh, it's okay, they probably just need to land, and then he starts changing into the thing, and it threw me off. I thought the guy shaking, acting all panicky, acting all like...
Right, and I guess you could argue that it somehow sensed that things were going wrong, I guess. I mean...
it was weird.
Because at this point of the movie, they encountered it, but they don't really know for sure who it can be or that it can shapeshift and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
It's a shapeshifting monster that they find in this ice. And at the beginning, this thing like jumps out of the ice and goes through the roof and all that kind of stuff. And, things hit the fan on that. But yeah, this, at first it's a little strategic because it's sitting there chilling like, hey, is everything okay? Asking questions. So this thing, it can take over you and talk and, but all of a sudden when they're landing the plane, it's like maybe the instincts kicked in, like, oh, they're catching on to me. Let me just go ahead and go crazy.
But like, why? Yeah.
And another thing too, I didn't like the fact that they crashed and somehow the thing died out there, but they didn't die.
Yeah,
they were in a helicopter
yeah.
and the thing went off, so they like went off. In a helicopter crash, you're probably gonna die. They crash landed, and next thing you know, like 20 minutes later in the movie, they're back.
Yeah, Carter
and they're all like freezing. Yeah, Carter and Derek.
Yeah.
They're sitting there freezing and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, wait a minute, how did y'all survive? But the thing didn't survive, which is an alien that can literally take over your bodies. It's just like, what? And Carter was the real. He was the real.
Yeah, human throughout the whole movie until like the last 5 minutes.
The very end, where she was smart. She said, "I've always known you're human because of your hearing, because the thing can't copy, objects that aren't a part of you. It's gonna spit like if you have like feelings or whatever.
Only biological forms or whatever the actual scientific term. It can't copy material stuff. Foreign things.
Right. So that was kind of thrown in there to me. I understand. Sam Carter was a big deal in the movie. I thought he was a main character too until it looked like they killed him off. Yeah. It's like, don't just randomly bring him in like, oh, I'm okay. Yeah, even though the thing is dead. I'm like, how'd that happen? Yeah. And then you made it all the way across because it looked like they crash landed way out there. And, it's like...
Walking.
Yeah, exactly.
Negative, like, what, 30?
Yeah, really. Yeah. And they're just, all they're doing is shivering. Nothing else is wrong with it.
But they were able to jump Lars and take his flamethrower.
Yeah.
They had enough energy to do that.
They had enough energy, enough power to do all that kind of stuff.
Seriously.
It's just like...
made no sense.
I don't... Yeah, the acting was kind of iffy to me.
It was. Like, you're sitting there thinking, but I guess it was to throw you off of the scent of who is the thing,
true. And you were saying how they were aggressive with each other. I guess you could argue that you're aggressive because you really don't know who's who. So you're sitting there, you're blaming me. No, it's you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Kind of like when, the kids get in trouble. Well, no, he did it. Or, no, you did it. No, and just back and forth. Kind of like Rush Hour.
But nobody was using their common sense.
Nobody was using common sense except for Kate.
Yeah.
She was the only one.
Yeah. They could have sat there and said, okay, if it can't mimic any foreign material, let's sit here and give everybody a piercing to take it.
Adam Finch at first, he had common sense because he was the one making, it's this other doctor, I guess, there. He was the one making the actual test to see, because at this time, I think 3 or 4 people died. They're like, all right, we need to figure out who it is. Yeah. Once they figured out, it could shapeshift. So he was in there making a test, and then next thing you know, the lab gets destroyed because he claims he was out using the restroom or whatever.
But he was so iffy about even admitting that he saw what he saw. Yes. Oh, I don't know what I saw, Kate. I don't want to say anything. It's like, dude, are you human or not? Like, are you trying to help figure out what's going on, or are you over here trying to sabotage everything and not really
Yeah, it was just too much. The character development fell flat throughout the movie.
There you go, yeah.
That's what it was. The character development was just like, okay, you're the smart guy. You're Adam Finch right now who is making a literal test to see who's who. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not going to go through with this other test, because the lab burned down. So he didn't have his test, but he's not going to go through with Kate's test. It's like, don't you want to figure this thing out?
Like, he was just so, like, he showed so much resistance.
Maybe the fear. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. And that's what sucks, because you're sitting there wondering the whole time, why?
Why, exactly. But you got the thing playing tricks, too, because it's like, no, this, that, and the other.
True.
It's you. No, it's you. So you just never know, I guess. You never know.
I knew it was the main guy that they hired them whenever he was on the floor.
Yep.
And they picked him up. I had a feeling he was going to turn on them.
For sure.
And he had to turn on my little Irish dude though.
Yeah.
The redhead, you know. Yeah, that dude was pretty cool.
And that's another thing too. I did like the language barrier that they presented in this one. You only get a little taste of that in the 1982 one at the very beginning. You know, when they encounter him from the lab. But in this one, it's like back and forth. You're having a language barrier. You're having all type of stuff interact. Everything going on right now. So
seriously, the whole Norwegians didn't want to deal with the Americans.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're the aliens.
They're at each other's throats, which I thought was good. Because you got this going on, and you got somebody else a thing as the actual monster. So it's like, okay, what are you more worried about right now?
Yeah.
And Kate's like, look, because she had one of Norwegian's guys on her side. But then stuff hits the fan. One of theirs people goes missing by the Americans, and so
which is Lars. Lars was her dude.
Yes.
Yep. And he's the guy that you see get killed at the beginning of 1982, which we just clarified earlier today.
Exactly.
It's crazy, but it all went full circle.
All went full circle, so it's pretty cool.
Which I think goes to show how good of a movie it is.
Yep.
You know, because of the fact that you're able to make those connections.
Yes, for sure. And I thought they did a good job on making the connections. And again, I thought it was a good sci-fi horror film. I mean, you know, I think it's just sci-fi, but you know, had the horror aspect. So best of both worlds for both people that like sci-fi or if they like horror. You get all that aspect in there. It's got a lot of stuff going on. And you don't even know who it is. You're just like,
Nope.
I think it's this person. I think it's that person. So, you know, all in all, I thought it was a pretty dope movie. Again, I gave it a 7 out of 10. Sal, 8 out of 10.
Yep.
So.
And to explain why you see a difference in characters going over this review, it's just like you said, it did get smarter.
It got smarter.
It knew to stay low key on the 1982.
For sure. Because at the end, you can tell Lars, he's chasing the dog down. You know, he's in a helicopter chasing, you know, shooting at it and stuff like that, trying to kill it, trying to stop it from getting to humanity or to anyone else. And so during that, you can actually tell as it's the dog at the beginning of that movie that's just walking around, taking in its scene, because it just got back from killing all these people and taking over and almost dying itself. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna play it smart this time. So I think the prequel just shows how aggressive it was and how, which I'm saying prequel as in the 2011 movie, it shows how it wasn't really thinking, it was just trying to survive. It's like, I'm better than you, so I'm gonna take you all out until they ran into a blowtorch, and it's like, oh. I'm not that strong.
That's really what it is. Yeah, I mean, he
they
was
blew up the ship, you know. So it's like, I'm really not that good. I gotta test the waters a little bit before I start killing people. So.
And it's weird how that alien works. Is it a single-minded? Because you saw it broke itself into pieces.
Yes.
So it makes you wonder. Okay, well, if a little bit of that blood got on Donovan and infused with you, because that's what it said. It said if any of that blood got on you, it pretty much become the alien.
Right.
So is that alien the same mind as the first alien, or is this a whole different alien?
That's a good question.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a real good question. You know, I have no idea.
Because I was thinking that.
They don't really go into detail like that on, is this the same one, or is this like, but then again, it's like, okay, did that alien when it branched off create a new mind? So I would think it's the same alien. It just had that doppelganger effect. And then it's like, if it infected 2 or 3 different people, is it still that one mind controlling all 3?
Or is it like Infinity Pool? You get what I'm saying? Or it's just a whole different thing,
and
it's its own thing. It has the memories and everything, but it's a different.
But it's still an alien.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Crazy.
Who knows? But yeah, that's our review, guys.
Yeah.
Watch it on Netflix for sure. Even if you are watching the spoiler, it's a pretty good movie. It's getting a lot of views right now. It's getting way more traction than it did back then, and I think it's because it's been so long. You don't remember that 1982 film. And if you're watching it, you're like, okay, it looks better than a lot of sci-fi horror movies we have seen. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Netflix is pretty much shown us a lot of good history
Yes.
movies, or a lot of good movies that have been made throughout the history.
Yes.
It was just a matter of time before they get it on there.
It gets more love now than it did before. So
A lot more.
Yep.
Yep. Well, guys, I think that's it.
That's it. Check it out, guys. If you haven't seen it, please like, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys on another review from another perspective.
Peace.
Cool.